Carbon tax 2. Well, we first found out about carbon tax 1. That's Justin Trudeau and the NDP imposing 41 cents a litre in new taxes that would cost $1,500 more for each family than they get back in rebates. Now, we know that the Liberals plan carbon tax 2, which would add an additional 17 cents a litre on top of the first 41 cents, for a total of 61 cents once you add the HST. So there'll be carbon tax 1, then carbon tax 2, and then HST on carbon tax 1 and 2, all of which will cost you 61 cents a litre in higher Trudeau taxes every time you gas up to go to work. And on top of that, it will raise home heating and grocery costs for families by roughly a total of $500 additional dollars. So you take Trudeau's tax number 1, Trudeau tax number 2, it's about $2,000 in net new costs above and beyond any rebates that you will get back. This at a time when bankruptcies and insolvencies are on the rise. 1 in 5 Canadians skipping meals because they can't afford the price of food. 1.5 million eating at food banks, some even asking the Mississauga Food Bank with help with medical assistance in dying, not because they're sick, but because they're hungry. This is life after 8 years of Justin Trudeau. And what's his solution? Yet another tax on the backs of hardworking Canadians with the support of the NDP in their costly coalition. I've been asking for these costs for a long time. You can check the record. They refuse to answer them. Trudeau wanted to sneak this tax in. He lied to Canadians about the cost of the first tax, claiming folks would get back more than they paid out. The parliamentary budget officer proved that that's not true. And then he hid the fact that he had a second tax up his sleeve that's going to hammer Canadians even harder. Well, here's the good news. We're going to turn the hurt he's caused into the hope Canadians need. My common sense plan to bring home lower prices will axe the carbon tax and the second carbon tax to lower gas prices 61 cents a litre below what people will pay under Trudeau and the NDP. We'll also cut income tax so people bring home more of each dollar they earn. In other words, people will make more and cost less and pay with paychecks and not debt. Et au Québec, la taxe carbone numéro 2 va s'appliquer. On sait que Justin Trudeau et son ministre ont dit hier que la taxe fédérale ne s'applique pas au Québec. C'est pas vrai. La taxe numéro 2 va s'appliquer au Québec 17 sous pour chaque famille, pour chaque litre de l'essence et de diesel. 17 sous de taxe de Justin Trudeau pour chaque litre de diesel et de l'essence, supporté par le Bloc québécois. Un coût additionnel de 500 $ pour les Québécois en hausse de prix pour les épiceries, pour nos fermiers et pour l'essence. Seulement le Parti conservateur a le gros bon sens pour s'opposer à ces taxes libérales. Et c'est seulement le Parti conservateur qui va annuler ces taxes pour réduire les prix. C'est nous, le Parti du gros bon sens, en même temps que le Bloc wokiste et les libéraux augmentent le coût sur le dos des Québécois. Thank you very much. I welcome your questions.
Do you believe that emissions cause climate change? Do you believe that carbon emissions cause climate change?
Yes.
Maxime Bernier nous parlait d'avortement hier. Y a-t-il une discussion chez vous, au caucus conservateur, ne serait-ce que sur ce sujet-là?
No.
What's your plan to reduce emissions? So, cutting the carbon tax and the clean fuel standard. What's your plan to reduce emissions?
We believe there's two different options. One is to raise the cost of traditional energy, as Trudeau and the NDP propose. We propose to lower the cost of carbon-free alternatives by speeding up approval for tidal energy in Nova Scotia, which Trudeau is killing, by speeding up approval for safe, clean, emissions-free nuclear, by getting it out of the way so that Quebec can double the amount of hydroelectricity that it supplies to its grid through its dams, and which will be necessary to feed electric cars going into the future. We believe in incentivizing carbon capture and storage to put the carbon back in the ground where it came from. These are common sense ideas that lower the cost of carbon-free energy rather than raising the cost of energy that Canadians continue to rely upon. Technology, not taxes.
J'aimerais vous entendre, M. Poilievre, concernant la secte Moon qui a décoré l'ancien premier ministre Harper. Est-ce qu'il y a un mot d'ordre chez vous?
Je n'en ai même pas lu. J'ai entendu quelque chose par rapport à ça. Ça me semble ridicule. Mais c'est drôle, par contre. Mais merci de me faire rire.
Can I ask you about the special rapporteur?
Yes.
Would there have been any value in meeting with Mr. Johnston just to hear him out?
No. He is Justin Trudeau's ski buddy, his cottage neighbor, his family friend, and a member of the Trudeau Foundation, which got $140,000 from Beijing. He has a fake job, and he's unable to do it impartially. He needs to simply hand it over and allow an independent public inquiry into Beijing's interference.
So was it a scheduling conflict?
No.
So you chose not, you did
Yeah,
deliberately did not meet with Mr. Johnston?
I did not meet with him. I chose not to meet with him. Yeah.
Just rencontré M. Johnston. Est-ce qu'il y a une raison pour laquelle vous ne l'avez pas rencontré?
Oui,
Vous n'avez pas voulu?
évidemment, parce que je suis consistant. Évidemment, j'ai dit que déjà que c'est un ami de Justin Trudeau, un voisin au chalet, un ami familial et un membre de la Fondation Trudeau qui a reçu 140 000 $ de Pékin. Donc, la Fondation Trudeau est impliquée dans l'ingérence étrangère et M. Johnston est impliqué dans la Fondation Trudeau. En passant, je lui ai envoyé une lettre demandant comment il allait pouvoir enquêter sur la Fondation Trudeau dont il fait partie. Il ne m'a pas répondu. I should say that in English. It's very interesting. I'll give you the scoop. I sent French was the first language in Canada. That's why I gave it first. They got the scoop first. All right. So I sent Johnston a letter, said, how are you going to investigate foreign interference in the Trudeau Foundation when you were part of the Trudeau Foundation? He hasn't responded. He didn't even respond to my letter on that obvious question. So we need to get this special rapporteur distraction behind us and get on with a real, full, independent public inquiry.
On opioids, can I ask you, Danielle Smith is proposing a bill that would force severe addicts into treatment. Do you agree with that course of action?
I'm still studying it. I have to learn more about that particular proposal. There's no doubt that recovery and treatment are the only way out. One of our bills from the Conservative caucus brings more treatment into the prison system. If someone is in jail for another reason, they've committed violence, but their underlying problem is an addiction, why not give them treatment while they're in jail? And that way that we can fix the addiction problem, and when they get back out, they can get a job and start their life, restart their lives, and take care of their families. But as to your question, I'm not dodging it. I just don't yet have an answer. I want to study it more. I want to understand it more. I want to see where it's been tried. And if it makes common sense, then it should be done.
Last question. 2021, c'est le vote en troisième lecture aujourd'hui. Comment vous voyez la suite des choses?
Mais Justin Trudeau veut bannir des armes de chasse. Ce n'est pas les chasseurs de Saguenay. C'est pas le chasseur de Saguenay qui fait des fusillades au centre-ville de Toronto. Ce n'est pas les peuples autochtones dans le Grand Nord du Canada qui font des fusillades au centre-ville de Montréal. C'est des criminels et c'est des trafiquants d'armes. Donc nous, les conservateurs, allons mettre des ressources dans le renforcement de la frontière pour empêcher l'importation des armes et nous allons mettre des vrais criminels récidivistes en prison pour protéger les citoyens.
Mais allez-vous enlever cette législation?